Now let's look at situation number 4 on page 70 of the 11th edition of the AAPL Land Reference Guide. This is a really good problem because it introduces you to the concept of the non-participating royalty interest owner. So let's just read it together, and it starts by saying Alpha owns a 100% minerals. So I'm going to underline 100% minerals, and conveys to Bravo, now this is in quotes, this is in the actual conveyance instrument, 2.5% of the oil and gas produced and saved. Produced and saved. Then Alpha leases to Charlie with a 1/8 royalty. Okay, so let's see what this looks like. We're going to start with Alpha, who owns 100% of the minerals. He is the 100% mineral owner. If we want to take an oil and gas lease, we're going to take it from Alpha. He's the 100% mineral interest owner. But Alpha conveys a royalty interest. When we see the words produced and saved, that is an indication that we are not selling minerals, but we are selling a royalty interest. If they had said 2.5% of my mineral interest or 2.5% of the oil and gas in the ground, that would have been a conveyance of the mineral interest. But we are only conveying a royalty interest. With this language, it indicates it's just a royalty interest. So A is going to convey to Bravo a 2.5% royalty interest. And what he's saying is, okay, B, if ever there is an oil and gas lease on this property, whatever royalty they give me, I'm going to give you 2.5% of that royalty, or I'm going to give you my royalty minus that 2.5%, which will be your royalty. And B then becomes what's known as a non-participating royalty interest owner. These are very common in Texas. And basically, B does not own any of the minerals, but he does have a right to a royalty payment. So because he doesn't own any minerals, he doesn't have the right to lease the property. He doesn't have the right to sell the property, the mineral interest of the property. All he has is a royalty interest. So A then leases to Charlie with a 1/8 royalty. A 1/8 royalty. Okay? So right away we know that if A owns a 1/4 royalty, Charlie is going to get the remaining 8/8. So 1/8 is already taken. So that leaves Charlie with a 7/8 net revenue interest. Charlie has a 1/8 net revenue interest. As a decimal, this would be a 0.125. And as a decimal, this would be, I'm just going to show you how we calculate this. We're just dividing 7 by 8. 7 divided by 8 equals 0.875. So that is their net revenue interest. 0.875 net revenue interest. Okay, but wait a minute. He has a 0.125 or 12.5% royalty. But now he's got to pay B. He's got to pay B the 2.5% he promised him in this conveyance instrument. So we're going to take that 12.5%, which is we're just moving that decimal over 2 places to get the percent. And we're going to deduct from that this 2.5% that belongs to B. And that is going to leave A with a, let's see, 2 minus 2 is 0, a 10% net revenue interest. Now note that A still owns 100% of the minerals. No matter how he conveys it, if he doesn't actually convey the mineral interest, he still owns the mineral interest. But he takes it subject to this 1/8 oil and gas lease. So Alpha then owns, as his net revenue interest, Alpha owns this 10%. It was 12.5% or 0.125, which is 1/8, but because we had to deduct the 2.5% for Bravo, that reduces his net revenue interest to a 10% net revenue interest. That leaves Bravo with the 2.5% royalty interest. So Bravo's interest is 2.5% net revenue interest. And Charlie now owns the remaining 7/8 or 87.5% net revenue interest. B is known as a non-participating royalty interest owner. Okay, let's look at situation number 5.